Hi, it's Neil here from Total Wellness Club, welcoming you to episode number 18 in our video series where we're looking at what helps you get healthy and fit and stay healthy and fit. And today what I want to explore is our genes, our DNA. Now we know that DNA testing has happened for a number of years. It's been used in forensic cases and it's also been used in paternal cases to prove that this child belongs to that parent. But has DNA testing evolved enough to be able to tell us about the potential health risks that may be in our future so that we can avoid those? That's what I want to explore in this video. So over the last few weeks, I have started the process moving. I have ordered myself a DNA testing kit from DNAFit, and I'd like to take you through the process that I've been through so that you can take a look at this and see if it's something that you may be interested in doing too. So DNAFit are a couple of DNA companies that are currently listed on the Total Wellness Club website, and what they're telling me on their website is that if I give them a swab of my saliva, they'll be able to make some dietary recommendations to me, and they'll be able to look at things like my carbohydrate, saturate and lactose response and tolerance, and they'll be able to look at my needs in terms of antioxidants, omega-3, vitamin B and D, and also my sensitivity around things like alcohol, caffeine and salt. Now, tell me what you think to this. Do you think that this is possible? I'm just wondering, but we're all a bit different, and maybe alcohol or caffeine or salt or our responses to things like fat and carbohydrates could be different. You could be different from me and I could be different from you, because we see a lot of things in the media that this is good for us or that's good for us or bad for us, and maybe that is or isn't the case. And I'm just wondering if DNAFit can help me to understand a bit more about that for myself. They can also tell me things about my power and endurance and my resilience to injury, and also my recovery speed and nutritional needs, as well as my aerobic response as well. So this looks like quite an interesting report. So my DNA kit has arrived from DNAFit, and I'm just going to open the package and see what's inside. It took about 5 days to arrive in the post, which is not bad going. So we do have in here. Okay, so a return envelope, and this is my my little kit. So we've got some instructions, and not quite sure what that is yet, but we'll find out. And looks like a swab kind of thing. So take a look at all of that and send it off for the results. So I'm just going to open up the report that's come through from DNAFit, and you probably see here we have a nice infographic which is just giving me all of the information in one graphic so that I can understand the report. It's showing me here that I have a high injury risk, that I recover pretty quickly. It's showing me that I have a medium maximum VO2 response. My power and endurance look like they're reasonably well balanced. Coming further down the page, it seems to explore sensitivities, different sensitivities and intolerances, and then vitamins and mineral needs towards the bottom here. So the diet report has 25 pages, so you see it's quite a comprehensive report. And what you've got in here is the optimal diet type, the carbohydrate and saturated fat, the detoxification ability, antioxidant requirements, personal vitamins and micronutrient needs, sensitivities to salt, alcohol and caffeine, lactose tolerance or intolerance, and celiac predisposition. So it's covering quite a lot of different angles and all the things really, I guess, that most people would want to understand about their diet. And I can already see here something that's really interesting to me. It says that I'm lactose tolerant here. For a number of years I've believed that I'm lactose intolerant, and I've been avoiding dairy. So this is definitely an area that I'm going to want to explore a lot more about, as I read this report, and also when I have a consultation with one of the DNAFit team. The salt sensitivity, alcohol response and caffeine sensitivity all outlined here. And then it goes into more detail about carbohydrate sensitivities, and this looks quite interesting here. Need to know a little bit more about the detoxification ability, because I've just noticed in various parts of this report it's showing that I need help with detoxification, as it's showing here with antioxidants. Certainly a need for me to get some help there. Based on my DNA. So say it's quite a comprehensive report covering lots of different parts of food and diet, and giving some recommendations based on my body type. Just opening up the fitness report. This fitness report is 15 pages. It covers endurance, it covers aerobic potential, post-exercise recovery, nutrition and injury risk. Report is 15 pages, so again, very comprehensive. Gives me a nice overview here of my training and my endurance, genetic results, requirements. Tells me about my personal power and endurance response. My aerobic potential, my VO2 max score, my recovery, my injury risk, which is high. I think this is on soft tissue, so I need to find out how I can avoid a little bit more of that, because that actually is quite true for me. I do pull a lot of little muscles here and there over time. So yeah, really comprehensive report. I'm looking forward to speaking more to DNAFit and speaking to one of the experts in their team, so that they can help me to understand this report in more depth, so that I can get the best results and the best understanding from this. We are all, of course, very different, so as you can see me flicking through my scores here, yours are obviously going to be different. Your DNA is going to be different from mine, so of course you want to get your own report and take a look at that yourself. So I am about to speak to DNAFit's Craig Pickering. We're going to have a Skype consultation. Interestingly enough, Craig is a former 100-metre sprinter. He's been in 4 World Championships and 1 Summer Olympics. He did miss the 2012 Olympics, unfortunately, though, because he hurt his back. And then he changed sports and entered the bobsleigh in the Winter Olympics. So Craig, interestingly, is one of only 8 athletes who's competed in both the Summer and Winter Olympics. Today, Craig is the head of sports science at DNAFit. And I'd like to use my consultation with Craig today to understand more about the DNAFit report, but also how it could affect my future diet and also my long-term health and well-being, and how it can inform my fitness training. So, Craig, would you tell me what the main aim of this call is, please?
Yeah, so with a consultation, what we are trying to do is trying to place each person's results in context. So quite often people get their DNAFit report and it can look a bit scary and a bit confusing, and there's loads of different letters and loads of different codes. So it's just about talking each person through it, explaining what it means for them, and enabling them to go away and put their results into action a little bit more.
Brilliant, thank you. And what are the main kind of benefits that people get from these calls with you?
It depends what they're after, really. I mean, we get such a wide range of people who use our product. It can be professional athletes who are looking at just fine-tuning a little bit of their training, so it gives them some more information to understand and take forward into that. We get weekend warriors, or people who kind of recreationally take part in sport and want to sort of just improve their performance there a little bit. And again, they get some insight into perhaps they could train a bit better, and perhaps they can just keep themselves a little bit more in shape. And then we get even people who just aren't interested in fitness at all, sort of 50, 60, 70-year-olds who are just more interested in about how can they maximize their diet and be as healthy as possible. So for them, it's about what type of diet works best for them from a point of view of weight management, and is there any more nutrients they need to focus a little bit more on. So everybody always has something they can take out of it.
Brilliant, thanks for that. Okay, Craig, so whereabouts do you want to start to unpick mine?
Cool, so have you got both your reports there with you now?
Yes, yeah, I have, yeah.
Cool, so we'll start off with the fitness report, which is the yellow coloured one. And if we scroll down to page number 6, we get to your power and endurance profile. So this looks at the best type of training for you. It doesn't tell us what sport you'd be good at, but it tells us the best way to train to meet your goals, whatever your goals may be. And to do that, we look at 15 different genes. All these genes have got at least 3 peer-reviewed studies behind them, so we can be pretty sure the effects that we're saying these genes have are accurate. And then we split these genes into 2 different tables. So a table for power. I've got a medium aerobic potential. I weigh 100 kilos and I'm very good at running short distances really quickly. I'm terrible at running 10 kilometers. So even though we've got exactly the same VO2 max potential on this test here, the type of training we'd have to do would be vastly different. I can't run for more than 15 minutes without breaking down. You can get to sort of 45 minutes. So this would just be kind of an extra bit of information for you to use based on we've got some post-exercise nutrition needs. So what we're saying here is if we know that genetically there's something which is going to be making you recover perhaps a little bit slower, is there anything we can do in terms of our diet to support that recovery a little bit more? So we've got vitamin A, beta-carotene, vitamin C, vitamin E, and alpha-lipoic acid. They're all antioxidants, and what we saw is that you had just one dot next to the SOD2 gene, and because you've got that one dot there, we know you're not quite as good at dealing with oxidative stress or free radicals. And it tells us that for you, you've got a few of the risk versions of these genes, and so overall, you end up with a high injury risk. So, like I said before, that's not bad news, it's not good news, it's just neutral news, and we have to understand how to use this information. And so if you're slightly more likely to suffer from injuries, we would say let's do something about that. And so for people that have got a high or very high injury risk, we recommend that they would be proactive in their prehabilitation stuff. So at the moment, so if we just go down to page 5, which is entitled Your Nutrigenetic Report, this tells us things to increase, things to decrease, your lactose intolerance, celiac predisposition, your food sensitivity. So it's kind of a really nice overview, but perhaps the most important thing on this page is the pink box in the middle, which says optimal diet type for weight management. So a few pages further on, page 12, we've got detoxification ability. So this comes in 2 phases, phase 1, which is on this page, and phase 2, which is on the next page. So phase 1 looks at how well your body can deal with 2 compounds called HCAs and PAHs. And these compounds are found in meat, especially in meat that's cooked at a high temperature. And so it becomes blackened and char-grilled, and these HCAs and PAHs form. We then eat them, and we start to metabolize the HCAs and PAHs into non-toxic products. But this metabolization process creates a really toxic byproduct, and that is a carcinogen. So if we're a fast metabolizer of these HCAs and PAHs, we get a really rapid increase in this toxic byproduct, which is not good news. Our body becomes a bit overwhelmed, can't deal with it. If we're a slow metabolizer, there's a nice gentle increase in this toxic byproduct. It's elevated for a much longer period of time, but our body can really deal with that very, very nicely. So being a slow metabolizer of these HCAs and PAHs is good. Being a fast metabolizer is less good. And we're looking at 2 genes here, CYP1A2 and EPHX1, that determine whether we're a fast or slow metabolizer of these HCAs and PAHs. And we can see that you've got a single dot next to both these genes, which means that you carry a risk allele of both within both these genes. So we would class you as a fast metabolizer.
I appreciate Craig there for his time taking me through the DNAFit report, and I hope you enjoyed being able to see just a few of the snippets of the conversation that I had with Craig so that you can see the detail that we went into. We did talk about the lactose / lactose intolerance. My DNA clearly shows that I'm lactose tolerant. As we explored the symptoms that I have a little bit more, Craig's feeling was that it's possibly something called casein that's within milk that causes me the symptoms that I have. But it ends up with the same result. I should just avoid having dairy products, having milk products. So that's sorted that one out for me. So we've taken a look at the DNAFit DNA test. I found it quite interesting. We talked about things like cancer and hypertension and the lactose tolerance or intolerance, and we also took a look at the vitamin needs and things like that. So it's been really interesting, and from my point of view it seems like there are no long-term concerns right now in terms of where I'm at. If I keep doing what I'm doing, then I'm probably going to be okay from a dietary point of view. From a fitness point of view, we looked at some things that I found quite interesting around the planning. Craig, as he was unpicking the report, made a couple of suggestions in terms of how I exercise, in terms of how I use that information about power in my workouts and create a 60-40 split between power and endurance. And I've actually been trying that for a few days since I spoke with Craig, and finding actually there's a lot more power that I can take into my workouts because I've changed the kind of rhythm that I'm working within. So that's been really interesting. Interested to know what you think. What do you think about DNA results and how they could affect your health and well-being? Have you taken any tests? Have you taken anything similar? I'd love to know your thoughts on this. And if you've enjoyed this video, then please do subscribe to the channel and feel free to share it with anyone who you feel this could help. Take care now.